Welcome into Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs. Coming up, the top 5 headlines that I saw from Texans training camp day 1. The first team to report, which means obviously the Texans just care that much more than every other team in the entire National Football League. Or maybe they're playing the first preseason game in the Hall of Fame game. Either way, I'm glad we finally have the Texans players out on the field. We have some more stuff to talk about, and we have a great show on tap for you today. Before I break down what I saw online from training camp, I need you to go down and join the family. Hit that subscribe button for daily Texans content here on the channel. We are the fastest growing Texans channel on YouTube for good reason. We're almost to 15,000 subscribers. I want to get there on this video. I told my bosses by the end of the week, we're hitting 15K. We need 29 more subs. Who's going to be those 29 people to go down and hit that sub button to help us get to 15K? Daily Texans videos all year long. And hey, subscription is 100% free. You don't even have to put in no credit card, no money, no Venmo, nothing. All you got to do is go down and hit that sub button right below the video. First up, Texans offensive line health. We did see one guy come back, but there was another starter who was on the sidelines today during training camp. The Texans offensive line, most notably last offseason, going into the year, was the most injured offensive line in the National Football League. And this year, they're planning on lining up this 5-unit right here. Jeremy Tunsil at left tackle, Kenyon Green at left guard, Juice Scruggs at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and Titus Howard at right tackle. And for the most part, this was our offensive line that we saw today, per one person who was not there, which was Jeremy. It's not that he wasn't there. He wasn't practicing today, which is Jeremy Tunsil, which I'm not super worried about because honestly, he's one of the best players in the league. He's one of the top 3 offensive tackles in the league. So if they're trying to, play it on the safe route, make sure that he's healthy, good to go week 1, I'm 100% okay with that. Titus Howard was back and healthy. Finally, a good sign from him because he was injured a ton last season. Start of the year, he was injured. Ending of the year, he got injured. Good to see Titus Howard back. He got that payday last offseason. Really hope he can come out and prove himself this year at the right tackle spot. And a standout for today, Blake Fisher, the second-round pick for the Houston Texans, or the second-round pick for the Houston Texans in this past year's draft, stepped in at that left tackle spot, which kind of solidified the idea that they really want Blake Fisher to be that swing tackle for this team. And they spent that pick because of all the health issues along the offensive line last season. We saw how many guys got injured, random guys being brought off the streets to help out. They really wanted to add some more depth, and they got that in their guy in Blake Fisher. I think he is going to be a great swing tackle for this team and eventually step into one of those tackle spots, either Jeremy Tunsil or Titus Howard in the future. Remember, Blake Fisher, he's very young. I believe he's 21, 22 years old. So he has a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to kind of learn the game underneath these 2 tackles in Titus Howard and Jeremy Tunsil. So really bright future for Blake Fisher, but as of right now, he's going to be the swing tackle for this team going into this season. Now, don't jinx it. I need all your help right now. Go spam the plus button to wish this Texans offensive line health. We need a prayer circle. We need anything, knock on wood, whatever superstition that you need to do to make sure this offensive line doesn't get injured. We need it because last year was not it. Playing basically human Jenga with all these offensive linemen in and out of the lineup was horrible. And yet, C.J. Stroud still balled out in his rookie season. But I don't want to do that again this year. Go down and spam the plus button. We need this offensive line to stay healthy this year. Second story I saw was actually after training camp practice ended was John Metchie was putting in extra work on the sideline, ready for that big year 2 jump last year, his first season playing after his rookie season was taken away by him battling cancer. But John Metchie, he's coming back, and he's coming back with a vengeance to show why he was a second-round pick by the Houston Texans out of Alabama last year. Only 16 receptions, 158 yards. But he was putting in that extra work after practice with none other than Stephon Diggs, who the Texans traded for this offseason, which, we talked about on the show. A lot of people call him a diva. A lot of people call him what else? I think he's a good influence. His fire, his passion for the game, his study of his craft, I am hoping that it rubs off on a guy like John Metchie. And they were putting in work after practice, working on their releases. I saw Stephon Diggs kind of showing him like, hey, whenever you're doing this, whenever you're gumming off on your release, he was kind of showing him some tricks of the trade, some, little tips and pointers here and there. And that's exactly what a guy like John Metchie needs if he wants to take that next step and contribute to this Texans offense this season. Next up, DeMeco Ryans, which I just think he is absolutely what this team needed and absolutely what this community needed. First, let's talk on the community side, because DeMeco Ryans, not only a great football coach, but also a great person. He brought in some kids, a youth group from the 5th Ward today for the first day of training camp practice, which is, outstanding. Great job by DeMeco, really trying to get this community involved, really trying to bring H-Town closer together. This is what DeMeco had to say. Yeah, the kids are all out today with 5th Ward Church of Christ, their summer enrichment program. It's a summer enrichment program that has been going on over the past 15, 20 years now. It was important for me to have them come out today to just get out and see something different, see the guys out here in practice. I know they've been working hard on all their programs. They're at the gym, so it is good to just see them get out here and just represent the 5th Ward and what that means to me. I'm excited to have them out here. They are a special group and excited to have them out today. DeMeco Ryans, on one hand, doing some great stuff in the community. Absolutely what you want to see out of one of the leaders of this team, one of the leaders of this franchise, one of the faces of this franchise. Your head coach, you couldn't ask more from your head coach. And then he went on and said this, which I thought was really impactful and gives me chills, goosebumps right now. He had this message to the rookies. He said, "We're not waiting for you." Which, if that doesn't get you pumped up, he's saying this team's ready to win now. Either get on the boat or stay on land, because we are setting sails. We are going for the gold. We are a bunch of pirates looking for some booty. Pause. But DeMeco, for real, he was saying, this team is in win now mode. And if you're not in that same mode, if you're not ready to put in the extra work, if you're not ready to get out there and grind your ass off, then you don't have a place on this team. And I absolutely love that sentiment from DeMeco Ryans, a former player. He knows what it takes to win in this league, and he's going to push every single last one of the 53 men who make this final roster to achieve that greatness. And the one word that I would describe DeMeco Ryans, leader. He is a leader of men. I would not rather have any other coach in the NFL leading my team other than DeMeco Ryans. I love what he brings to this team. I love what he brings to this city. I cannot get enough of DeMeco Ryans. Let me know, what's your one word to describe our head coach, DeMeco, down in the comments section. Next up, Will Anderson, talking about leaders. He's becoming a leader of this defense. During his press conference today, he was talking about, the work that he's put in this offseason. A lot of guys are going to Cancun. They're going all these other places. Will Anderson, he put on 15 pounds of muscle this past year. Last year, weighed in at 243. Said he was weighing in around that 268 mark. So, looking really good. Looking really good. I'm really excited to see, or wait, not 268. Wait, maybe I have my math wrong. 258 is what it was. Yeah, I was like, that's not right. Yeah, 258. Either way, he gained 15 pounds of muscle because he said, he was getting thrown around a little bit too easily towards the end of the year last season. So he recognized one of his flaws, and he went out and he immediately fixed that. Love that from Will Anderson. And then he had this quote today: "Nobody on the outside is going to have bigger expectations than on the inside of this building, but it starts with our foundation of coming out here and getting 1% better. 1% better each day." You're 100% right, Will Anderson. The amount of expectations, the amount of, Super Bowl aspirations, AFC Championship aspirations, AFC South Champion aspirations that people have put on this team is enormous. And this team knows it, but they are ready for the challenge, it seems like. And I love that they have a good young group of leaders with this type of mentality of saying, hey, I know that everybody's looking at us. We have a huge target on our back going into this season, and we don't care because we're going to outwork everybody, and we're going to prove why we have that target on our back because we are that damn good. Love Will Anderson becoming an even better leader on this defense. Love the duo of him and Danielle Hunter as well. Lastly, who will return punts this season? Saw a couple tweets from a couple guys there at practice today, and they said that these 5 guys were lined up returning punts during practice today. It was Tank Dell, Steven Sims, Robert Woods, Miles Bryant, and Desmond King. And this was interesting to me because if we look at it, I don't know if these 3 middle guys make the final 53-man roster, Steven Sims, Robert Woods, or Miles Bryant. So if you take those guys out of the equation, it comes down to either Tank or Desmond, which I love Tank Dell, and I love the electricity he would bring to the punt return game. I don't want Tank Dell returning punts on a normal basis. I want him to stay healthy and be on the offensive side of the football and be a weapon for C.J. Stroud. I do not need him getting hurt in the return game. So I am really looking at Desmond King to be that kick returner for the Texans that punt returner for the Texans this season. He has obviously a lot of experience returning punts in the National Football League. So look for Desmond King to be the punt returner this year. But interesting to see these names on there. If I had to pick one other guy, maybe a sneaky guy to make the roster, Steven Sims had that punt return against the Ravens in the playoff game last year. He could be a sneaky name if the Texans want to add another, special teamer on this 53-man roster. That's all I have for you today, folks. I'm actually heading down to Houston right now. We're based out of Dallas here at Chat Sports. My mom lives in Houston, so I'm heading down there right after I film this, actually. So if you're down in Houston, give me a shout out. H-Town, hold it down, 832-281. You know what it is. Going to the homeland tonight. So really excited to go see that. And if you want to follow my journey, you know where to follow me, at Jeremy Chuggs on Twitter. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we are so close to 15,000 subscribers. You made it to the end of the video. Why not go down and hit that sub button for daily Texans videos all year long?